Hey guys, Ralph here, and welcome to True Power Trumpet Fitness on this fabulous Friday here in Connecticut. Life's good, guys. Life is good. You see, I did my hour-and-a-half workout on the stationary bike. I practiced for an hour and a half, and I'm on my way out for another bike ride for an hour and a half before my students this afternoon. I can't think of a better way to spend a day, honest to God. Anyway, you saw the thumbnail. Embouchure change. Ooh, the two dreaded words. Anyway, I have played quite a bit. Let's see what we got, and then we'll take it from there. Anywho, some rips into the stratosphere and then a little barbed wire ace. That was number 5, Cinco. Anyway, what can I say? Life's good. Embouchure change. Guys, those two words used to strike fear into the hearts of any brass player. An embouchure change for no other reason would be made for no other reason than the teacher didn't know what the heck else to do. Now, very often, the kids would be I'm talking about back in college, back in the day. Very often, the kids would actually be pretty good trumpet players. But because the horn angle was wrong, because they put it on the side, because they weren't, 2/3 at the top, 1/3 bottom, whatever the equation, they changed their embouchure. For no reason, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Now, I've told you before, going back, one of my pals back in college was Jim Hines, who was a still is, tremendous trumpet player, New York City freelance, #1 call for just about everything. Conducting, whistling, very talented guy. But he had absolutely the funkiest looking embouchure. It's off to the side. He had the protruding jaw. Anybody that was going by the Philip Farkas school of embouchure would have changed him immediately, but the guy was tremendous. Luckily, his teacher, who was not Vacchiano or Broyles, had the good sense not to mess around. Broyles wouldn't have messed around with it. Had the good sense not to mess around with it. And the rest is history. He hasn't changed his chops one bit since all those years ago. And the rest is history. Guys, there is going to be a period of change when you change to the 1SB and change your chops. There is, but I'm telling you right here and right now, it will not render you helpless. If you're trying to do this on your own, and it does, you can't play, guys, you're doing something wrong. Case closed. Get in touch with me and let me help you. This should not render you helpless. Quite the opposite. You will feel a spike in tone and power immediately if you're doing right. Now, what will happen because of the tongue position? Now, remember, I'm not changing it where you're putting it on. I don't even look at that. Horn angle means nothing. Means nothing. Okay? All I'm doing is changing your tongue position. Now, that will feel awkward for a while. Okay, and if you combine that with changing mouthpieces, yes, that will feel awkward. So if you are doing a job that night, you're probably going to clam some notes that you wouldn't normally clam because it feels so awkward. Okay? But it does not render you helpless. Quite the opposite. After a couple days of doing this, it feels so natural and so quickly it feels natural, you're going to have trouble going back to what you were doing before. Even if the 1SB is not making the transition right away. You're going to play an hour on the 1SB, and you're going to feel like you're scuffling and all this sort of stuff, and in exasperation, you go back to the Bach. which is complete and total garbage. You go back to the Bach, and you'll play one note and go, oh, God, that's wrong. You're going to feel the difference, and you're going to feel how easy it is, even though you may be struggling to get your high notes, whatever the case may be. But after a while, I'm telling you guys, you are not going to be able to go back to the old way. You're screwed in that regard. Now, what happens is you will feel better and get frustrated, but still get frustrated a little bit. But guys, the only thing that I cannot tell you, and I've told you this before, is how long it's going to take. Some guys it takes 5 minutes. It takes 5. Is this right? Yeah, that's right. Okay, is this right? Yep, that's it. Okay. You see them again, a couple of days, they're killing it. Some guys, not so easy. Is this right? Not quite. I want you to thicken it now. If the tongue, now what happens to the airstream by thinking, and they try to get to paralysis by analysis, and they start thinking about it too much and thinking about the wrong thing. My airstream, my jaw angle, all that sort of stuff, you shouldn't be thinking about that once. Where the air goes, my diaphragm, should not be thinking about it once. All you're thinking about is the tongue position against the soft inner red of the bottom lip. That's all you're thinking about. That's all I think about. All right? Anyway, that is that. Embouchure change, no problem. No problem. All right? All right. Get yourself a 1SB. Get yourself a book, True Power to the Max. Take a lesson, free lesson with the price of a 1SB mouthpiece. And get started, man. All right? All right. Love you all. Have a good weekend.